This week will all be focused on internet research. For your final project, this week will focus on how do you access the Shasta College databases in order to mine sources for your final project. Now, we've been talking a lot about pathos, ethos, and logos, and some naysayer activity for this final project, and this is where you get to really put it to use. The annotated bibliography is about how to combine all of the sources and then give me the annotation. The annotation for this assignment is going to be in two parts. You can do a paragraph on the summary about what the source is about, what it says, and if it's a study, what are the findings. And then your second part, your second paragraph will be how will you use it? And this will work as a mind map or a roadmap, if you will, on your final essay, knowing where to plug in specific sources. So when it comes time in week 14 and 15 for you to write this whole 6-page project, you not only know where your sources are going to get plugged in, but what function that they will serve. So in this week's module, you have a couple files to take a look at. The first is the annotated bibliography slides. So the annotated bibliography slides walks you through what it means to write an annotated bibliography, but also where to begin. So I'm not going to go through all the slides because you can do that on your own time. However, the main purpose and spirit behind an annotated bibliography is to keep everything really organized in one spot. So you understand you're not just grabbing sources here and there, you're being really intentional about choosing the ones for your project that really have enough to offer. Now, you can't have 7 or 8 sources. You're really limited to how many you can use. So it's important that you only choose sources that you can use throughout your paper in a really effective way. Just to reiterate, your final sources must come from the Shasta College library databases. They cannot come from Google. They cannot come from your own ideas. They can't come from blogs. They can only go through the Shasta College databases. And in the assignment, it has the link there. Plus, there's a really exceptional chat feature. And you can talk with librarians if you're having such a hard time finding different ideas about your topic. They are great. They can help you. So where to begin? Doing your research, you're going to want to keep it all in the same place. So there's going to be a little tab on the top that looks like a folder and a plus sign. You can throw everything you find into that folder and then filter through. So let's say you only have an hour before you have to get to work or wherever, and you just want to do some preliminary research. Well, throw it all in that folder and then pick through it later. Then you can also do research with the librarian in the article databases. Instead of just doing JSTOR, which is super broad, or EBSCOhost, super broad, maybe they can direct you to like a psychology journal or one of sports medicine or one on pediatrics so that you can really get down and dirty, focused about what you need to find. Instead of just typing in something and having 50,000 things, make sure that you have enough keywords that's going to pare it down. So instead of talking about kids and cell phones, instead talk about psychological effects of cell phone addiction with kids ages 13 to 15. That's going to give you really focused results. Again, make sure you also click on the left, the button that says peer reviewed. This means it's gone through a really critical process to make sure not only is it credible, but it's up to date and people aren't just publishing whatever the heck they want. So when you have credible questions, you can ask the librarian and they can make sure that little bit is checked as well. Now, parts of your argument, for instance, when we're coming up with our argument, we've done this before when we're talking about logic. So make sure that your grounds of your argument are not slipping into those fallacies that we studied earlier in this semester. Make sure you're staying away from really blatant sweeping statements about all this and every time, things like that. Also in this week's module, there is a separate file that gives you a sample annotated bibliography. So you can visually see what I'm looking for. But here in this slide, there's also some options. So you have the works cited, you have the citation like you normally would in your works cited page. All the information's there. And then you're going to give me a summary of what this source says. Everything, not just the part you read, but actually what it says. Then secondarily, you're going to give me a paragraph about where this is going to fit. Is it going to fit into your logos paragraph? What is it trying to address? So take a look at these sample annotated bibliographies plus the file called sample annotated bibliography. That's just a file in the modules this week. So you can visually see what I'm looking for. This is going to be important to make sure that I can check to see if your sources are credible, if you have enough, not too many, and that you're right on the right track. If you have 4 all on your logos paragraph and you have nothing on ethos, this gives me an opportunity, a full week, to kind of get you back on track before you head into the second pre-writing strategy, which is your roadmap for your naysayer. All right, as always, email me with any questions you might have, and I look forward to seeing what you find out there.